How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. You ready to talk about Twitter?
Yeah, let's talk about anything you want to talk about.
I heard something's going on with Twitter. I'm not entirely sure. Well, I have a little bit of an idea. So what we hear is Elon puts out some poll on Twitter asking about if Twitter represents free speech. People come back, 70% or so say no. Next thing you know, Elon's buying up all the Twitter and people start going nuts. So at first glance on this, when you first heard about this, what was your feeling about what was going to happen with Twitter?
I mean, reasonably, Elon Musk, off the rip, no matter how much money he has, he gave a fair and honest offer. And if it's something he believes he wants to make a change in, with the freedom of speech issue, I think it can be done. But I mean, Elon's gonna just go around adding stuff to his cart and buying it, just like the meme says, just because he can. But I think he has a genuine passion for coming in and making the changes he's wanting to see on Twitter, and probably not. It's just going to roll over into other social media platforms too. It's we're going to have to somewhere draw a line at some point. But freedom of speech needs to be freedom of speech.
But as far as like share price and or grabbing options or something like that, what was your initial thought on that?
Well, firstly, it's going to bring a lot of interest to the stock. So naturally, there's going to be some volatility. And, if an options play, you're going to have a pretty natural probability that you're going to be able to profit on it in some kind of manner. If you're not greedy, you can make a quick option trade in a couple of days and, made 20 or 30%. I mean, it's a trade.
Right. I mean, this isn't something you should be mortgaging the house for, like all the AMC were doing. This is maybe people are making more out of this than they should be.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be something Elon buys, and it's just going to kind of simmer down and go under. But as far as a stock opportunity goes, if he does a buyout, what he offered the company, $54.20 a share, that's going to set in stone for everybody. And no matter who's on the board or what the shareholders are, the company will go private, and it won't be listed as, the TWTR ticker anymore.
So last I read, the board was reconsidering, and we're going to talk to Elon here on the 24th. Now earnings come out the 28th. So as an investor, I'm looking at, I don't know how much to rely on earnings. They're going to talk to him tonight. I mean, is this something that in the immediate future could take off a little bit and then it's going to level back down?
That's the bet I took. Yeah, I mean.
So you took that bet.
Yeah, I'm taking the bet on. I got me a few shares and a few calls. I mean, I didn't go all in. I like to limit my risk. It's just something I've been taught. Manesh has drilled that into every one of his students. And shout out to Manesh, by the way, who has been a mentor, who's basically gave me the mindset that I have today.
And for anybody watching this, you can check out his site too in the description, and check out how they can learn the process like you've learned. And I have to admit, I got caught up in a little bit of the Twitter excitement, but of course I didn't, I can see I didn't go all in because I don't have enough money to go all in, so I got to make sure I limit my risk or my wife would kill me. So, but when you look at a lot of things with Twitter, I look on Twitter about Twitter, one of the things I see, this guy named Gary Black, I don't know who Gary Black is, but he's got a check mark. So that must mean he's really smart, Yeah. And like he says, this should be a non-brainer. If Elon Musk launches a tender offer for Twitter directly to investors, shareholders will have a choice. Stay with a management team who has created no shareholder value, or side with one who has a track record of doing the opposite?
Everything he touches doesn't turn to gold, dude.
So here's my question for you. If there's talk that he's going to take it private. Now, I've talked to you in private about what it means to go private. So why don't you tell everybody else what it means really to go private and what that means for shareholders?
I mean, we're basically going to be forced out of our shares, and they're going to buy the company out, and Twitter's not going to exist no more. We're going to be given the premium value of whatever he bought the company for, which would be like $54.20. That's what you're going to get for your share, and they're going to close it. So he might give some kind of option to divide the shares up into the remaining equity of the price of the holding company he's going to be holding it in. I mean, I don't know. So he's mentioned the tender offer, and I'm curious to know what that really is. I haven't really dug into, his plan or agenda behind that, but we don't know until it happens. It's going to be kind of one of those overnight things. About 6 months ago, no, actually a little more than a year ago, this happened to, we was trading Stay of America. And like overnight, it was mentioned that BlackRock was buying them out. And we were forced out of our options. Actually, we took like a 40% loss on them before they decided to tell us the option chain was going to be closed down. So it's like we had like a 4-hour window of this all happening. We took our trades the previous day, and then around 8:30 or 9 o'clock that night is when BlackRock, I think is the company that bought them out, mentioned they were acquiring Stay of America, and everybody was pissed. We all got on these option trades for nothing, went all in. It was stupid. It was wild.
How long does it take something like that to happen? If he was to gain control and to take it private, is that something that happens in a week, 6 months, a year?
Could be overnight. I've seen it happen.
Earnings come out on the 28th. Where do you sit on earnings? Because I've heard earnings are going to be lower. Does that mean it's going to go down? So, I mean, there are so many people thinking Twitter's going to tank. There's people thinking Elon's going to take it over, and just from hype alone, it's going to moon or, go up. What do you look at with earnings coming out?
I try not to ever pick a direction based on earnings, because I've seen good news bring the price down, and I've seen bad news bring the price up. So you can't really, and I've also seen the vice versa of what you would normally think. If they got good earnings, you think it's going to go up, and it can sometimes, but it can also go the other direction. It's crazy, man. It's never something to focus solely on. You want to have some kind of, deeper analysis of what's going on with the stock or the company before you just base it on earnings. Because you can go back on the chart, you can see where the earning tags are at the bottom and see what date they were, and then look at the next 10 candles after it, and just count 10 candles, and you're going to see the direction that it went. Whether it was good or bad, stock would have went up or down. There's no rhyme or reason to it all the time, but some people get lucky and they say that's the reason, but there's multiple reasons why stock can move. And it's not going to be just based on earnings.
So a final kind of a thought on Twitter. So I guess you're kind of where I'm at, where, hey man, it's Elon, whatever he touches, we're not going all in, but we think there's a good chance, even from the hype alone. I mean, hell, if it goes up $2, $3, $4, $5, you're making some good money, and you don't want to be greedy. That's it. You don't want to be like I hate saying it because I've been there, an AMC ape that's waiting for $100,000 a share. It's not going to happen. Would you agree with that kind of assessment of where Twitter's going to go? And maybe, and another one to think for you to answer is, what are you looking at as far as what long-term, short-term? Is this something where, man, get your profit and move on? I'm
in it to see what's going to happen, man. I mean, to me, it's 3 or 4% of my account. It's not going to have any effect on my ability to make the next trade, because I don't have to sit there and look at a, overall 50% down balance because I went all in.
What last thing would you like to say to anybody watching this video?
Like, subscribe, join my Discord. I mean, if you got a little bit of a balanced life and some time to learn, I'm all ears. I answer all the questions in Discord. I'm not here to give financial advice. Every now and then I'll throw a signal out there, but always make your trade limited. Something Manesh has taught me.